Okay, it's not a great view, but the whole place overtaken by lawless anarchy. And they call Ann on a caveman. And they call Ann on a caveman. I find this an interesting statement, because is this the only reason they did it? Because that's a shit reason. There are better ways to do that. You can just have him be preoccupied, like... You wanna know what works way better, that doesn't require him to get his face fucking smashed in by a baseball? A dodgeball? Is you just have him fuck around. And in the second period, before lunch, he gets held up. And the clique's already formed. If anything, it shows like how cutthroat it all is. I don't know, it's fine. It works. I like how he already came to this conclusion yesterday. You know, it makes me feel better about protagonist Kun in Call Me Fang because he does hammer on things. And clearly, that's fine. I honestly think that they just want to fucking bet down. The Megalodons will continue to rule. Oh, this is pretty cute. That's a pretty cute little lookout balcony and everything. I think one of my ribs is cracked. That's just the school spirit. Oog. Ah, what a beautiful day. Yeah. Yeah. All my lunch buddies are artists. I mean, 2/3 of the people here are, Damien. The odds are not in your favor. The Twejuo. I am the Twejuo. Yeah, this really adds to the fanciness of the school. Really nice. Good job, artists. Holy shit, does this place look pretty fucking spiffy. Like a 3-story glass wall and a balcony with an upper section. Jesus. I love that he's like, nah, my home is just around the corner. I like that Olivia's only here because of circumstance, because it's pretty clear that Olivia probably wouldn't go here with the extra effort, if only because Olivia wouldn't feel like she deserves it, and, you know, would prohibit her from doing it on her own terms. So in a sense, Damien is the reason she's here. Holy shit. Was she always like that? Damn. Man, she looks pissed. That's what I like to call pissed. Was she ever this pissed in the original one? I get the feeling she wasn't. Yeah, like, I don't think this pissed face is even in the original one to begin with. added some piss and vinegar to the situation, I guess. Is it a private school? Is a good question. I paint. Never drunk a drop of water in her life. Well, but the thing is that Fang isn't really all that violent. Fang doesn't beat you up. Trish does. Trish is the heavy. Reed is too fucked up. But Olivia's tail will just slam you around. God damn, he's peeing on like this consecutive days. Like, what the hell, dude? It feels like he just missed the same Monday twice, considering that apparently Iadicon was also giving lessons the previous day. It's so weird. I love how angry he looks at his steak, too. Granite floor, Jesus. That's a hard stone, by the way. Very tough stuff. Okay, I'm gonna open the script. I just need to know. Have they added anything to this? Does Anon get shit for picking the bad option? Come on, you gotta know. I gotta know. No, still nothing is awarded for this one. Listen, Inko's dietary habits are important. You can't just cheap on those. Let's be a huge fucking idiot today. I like how he calls her a green chick. A thing worth noting is that calling someone a chick is pretty... It's not something you use if you're more neutral. You know, it's not a neutral term. It has some energy to it. Which is interesting considering that Inko's trying to be so low-key. Like, chick tends to be more accusatory, a bit more masculine, I guess is a way to put it. Toxically masculine, not the good kind of masculine per se. Harsh, I guess is a good way to put it. Sharper. The word itself is sharper too. Gator does not accept your... we've already lost the video game, I guess. No hugs for us. I love that Damien is impressed by a goddamn can. So a thing I think I've thought about with, like, the Trico story, because I have the own history there. Thinking about it, and this is kind of important, I asked myself the question, how do dinosaurs and humans fight? And I went with the idea of humans have an extensive supply of bituminous coal and other raw resources. Humans have a huge amount of, like, workable industrial metals. And they have other problems, like they're not as strong. They're not as physically able. So humanity focused heavily on technology. They developed their own gunpowder, and when they finally came into proper contact with dinosaur kind, after very wishy-washy localized contacts in the inner sea, humanity had guns. And they just fucking shot dinosaurs to pieces. That's how the war mostly went. Dinosaurs have more natural attributes, they were more reliant on their own abilities, and they tried to integrate firearms, but they couldn't make them. They didn't have the technology for any of it. And they wouldn't for a long time, and so there was this long Cold War period. And when the Unification War finally happened, I imagine around that time, most of the armies would be more industrialized, but it was a shit show at that point. At that point, they had other problems to worry about. Primarily involving, of course, bioweapons. Some of the countries were developing psionic soldiers, or, you know, the US Army did that in the Cold War too. So, you know, everyone was kind of trying to find their own way of having an advantage that wasn't physical. Because another important thing is neuropathy, which is, again, integration of cybernetics in an easier fashion than we have, where you can kind of hook someone's nerves up to something. Mostly comes because of the Unification War, and what happened as a result of it. But I imagine the technology was there at the time, so humans could be as strong and physically fit as a dinosaur. So the racial advantage was slimming down. And sure, Greater Pangea had its own set of political problems. Humanity was more united. Sort of? No, I actually went with, like, They united because they didn't have a chance, because they were too disparate, and humanity could strike one nation and just crush them with military might. But humanity had its own internal conflicts, and only united into the... What was it called again? The Empirical Union or something stupid like that. I want it to be EU, because it's funny. I don't know, I think too hard about this. Dino Oppenheimer. No, you have to understand they were not necessarily more advanced. The way the Kalo worked is they were less repulsed by their own mystics. The way that magic works is it's a very thought-provoking thing, and so they had their own technologies and things. It's just that they didn't develop war technology as much. They didn't have as much investment in developing massive guns because the average dinosaur can just tear someone to pieces. They have the endurance and physicality. Like, guns were never a consideration. They had ranged weapons and such, but gunpowder and all never felt necessary. Who needs siege warfare when you can fly over the walls is kind of the problem they were dealing with. Naturally, when they got guns, it was like, oh, we can just shoot them from the sky now. And the whole thing changed. But they never went that way. They had alternative means. They had Sihe and the whole thing. You know, it's like you don't think about it until you have it. Just like how the Western world got Arabic numerals, they got the number 0, they got the printing press for the East. The Western world imported a lot of technologies. Like, again, the printing press, which had a massive revolutionary change. The numeric system of the Arabians had a huge impact. It's similar to that. Like, they got their own. Hey, we're merchants. We have some guns. Would you like to buy them? We'll tell you how to make them. For the right price. Which is a hell of a thing to say. But I think that the concept of opportunism and economic neutrality is important. Like, sure, these two countries are having a big war, but there's a lot of people in the middle who don't give a shit, especially those in the inner sea who are like, hey, I can make a fuck ton of money selling the human steel and buying dinosaur gold. I can make shit ton of fucking cash. They need gunpowder constantly, especially if I don't tell them how to make it. You know, economic incentives are there. Personally, a thing worth noting is that the way the lore kind of supposed to pan out is that at some point... How do I put it? I mentioned this elsewhere, but I like the idea of in Skyrim that there is a political schism, but the Empire and the Stormcloaks are technically negotiating because they know that the Thalmor are a problem and that they can solve this together amicably. Similarly, I don't even know what the project's called actually, but there, as I mentioned, there's a project to make Sihe, which in that world you can be magic, but you can only be magic if you can be magic. It's you can only be a Noomancer if you are mentally and physically suited for it. It's part genetics and part you gotta be the right kind of person for it. You can't just be a Noomancer because you think it's cool. You gotta have the aptitude for it. You gotta have the willpower for it. Like, it's like the Force. You get the Force because you can get the Force. Because you as a person would always be good for it. And so they were like, hey, listen, we found out that apparently you can do that, and so they wanted to get their own. Because, hey, people say that they're non-scientific, they're just like mythology, but they seem to be quite real. Like, a lot of history records mention Sihe and what they did. And there's Atlantis, which supposedly had, like, all of these magical people. And the inner sea seems to be caused by, like, the moon crashing into the planet. Like, there is a moon on the bottom of the inner sea, which is like the crater that splits up Pangaea into Greater and Lesser Pangaea and the islands and everything. What if we could make one of those? And they could be as strong as a nuclear bomb, because no one's actually thinking about nukes up until that point. Nukes came because of the God King and his pet lizard, which, you know, fun irony, dinosaur and human, who are both Sihe and very big and very tall. Sihe stands for Scientifically Inexplicable Historical Event, which is the term for magic, but we don't know what fucking magic is. Because it's very difficult to explain to someone that magic exists, because it is inexplicable to the point that someone like Rex Octavius, Dr. Octave, he has hyperphonics, which is his brand of magic. He can make a device that functions on the principles of hyperphonics and can shoot you and can kill you. But it doesn't work if someone else just picks it up and uses it, because they don't know how it works or why it works or that it should work. There's a part of him that fuels these devices. That's called a focus, by the way. That's if you can only use your powers in a specific way, you have a focus. Natalie, for example, I thought it'd be cute if she had a focus. That is, she can make occult things happen. She can summon ghosts. She can make poultices, because that's the focus. That's how she thinks magic should work, so that is how magic works for her. I forgot where I was going with this. It's also kind of why you can't breed Sihe, because by definition. But yeah, so at some point, the integration project is there's a bunch of people in tubes who were cryogenically frozen who were going to be part of this project to make super soldiers or magic people, whatever. They didn't know what they were doing at the time. They're just kind of figuring things out. The problem is, those people need to be reintegrated, and Chico was going to be one of them. And it was also going to be a girl. Eliza was going to be one of them. You can't really breed it. Like I said, it's part genetics, but a lot of it is just personality. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. And you don't just gotta want it, you gotta want it. And the thing is, that project appears to have been done by both dinosaurs and humans, which is kind of weird, right? Like, wasn't this whole thing about greater and lesser Pangea? They are connected, by the way. It is one landmass, just shattered by a moon. But from that perspective, it's like, okay, so who did this and why? Was there a third party working in the midst? I don't know. I don't know if that question needs an answer. I think the mystery, if it ever gets brought up in the story at all, is enough to go like, I like the God King, and though it's like, okay, people know two stories. They know the God King and his big fat Godzilla lizard trouncing around eating souls. That's like the story everyone talks about, which was about 60 years ago. But like, most people just remember the armies that came with this motherfucker, who trounced all over the place and left a lot of nasty things behind, which is why Trico knows how to use a gun, because out in the wilds, there's still a lot of those things that he brought with him around. If you wonder why the moon got thrown into the planet, I still don't know at the time, like 3,000 years, 2,000 years ago, the Arcadian Empire was around. They were, like, there's a lot of civilizations that just vanished off the face of the planet. Because at some point, a magic user with a lot of power is like, I'm sick and tired of this shit, and blows it up. Ophinia might be the next one, who knows. But the Arcadian Empire, something happened, and they just, here's a rock, out of space. One of the 3 moons thrown right on top of you. Blew half the continent into 2 pieces. How that separated humans and dinosaurs specifically, who fucking knows, I don't know. I just like thinking about this. None of this is going to come up in the story. At most, someone's going to bring up Atlantis. Because in Atlantis, everyone in Atlantis was a Numancer. They were all magic. They were all sea. They were all fancy boys. But because they all died together in some sort of event, that whole place is fucking haunted by all of them, their negative vibes. It doesn't affect most people, but if you're like a CF, you or Numancer, that shit gets in your brain fast, and you're like, in seconds. It's great. Anyway, I've talked about this too much. We're not here for this. Fuck. This is what happens. You dinguses. You should have told me to stop. Please. Ugh. I mean, I like talking about it, but... Man, he just ate the whole can, and then discarded the corpse. What were we talking about before? Olivia's art! Right. This is really good, Inky. It's such a good nickname, though. Like with Anon, they didn't do too much. I guess Annie would be too feminine, so there wasn't much they could work with. I like Inky. He's like a ghost, but he pops. Like I said, Blue Jacket actually works. Maybe I should stream some of my creative works as a side thing, just for kicks. Just for kicks. See, like, a big problem that I have is the more you integrate magic into the greater society as a whole, the more things get weird. Like, if Siha are just insulated incidents, and they're deniable, and they're different, and they're weird, and no one knows what's going on, that's fair. But, like, if Octave works with a government organization to integrate everyone who's found in those test tubes, that's very different from Octave happens to have adopted one of them, because he feels personally responsible after the Caldwell massacre. Like, an entire plot point originally was, still is technically, that Octave, 30 years ago, was involved with the Caldwell massacre. Where some girl, Holly Caldwell, no one knows if she had powers or not, but she sure shut up a fucking school and killed a whole bunch of people. Octave was there, he didn't stop her or couldn't stop her, and he was like, fuck. Shooting people sucks. He was a supervillain around the time for like a decade. A lot of bank robberies, a lot of murders. Very, very bad person. Turned a new leaf because he realized, oh shit, this sucks. Paid for a lot of funerals, remembered everyone's names, and tried to find himself another. He was a music teacher already, which is funny when I think about it. Eventually moved to Crescent Coast, which is where the story actually takes place. What was I thinking about? So part of the character was, it'd be kind of cool if Octave gets fucking shot. Because there's this whole mystery of like, is he a villain or not? Is that real? And then it is. He's like 57. It's like 30 years ago that massacre happened. It's still recent enough that a lot of people know about it. And it'll help emphasize the fact that this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and most people probably remember it as a result. But the point is, there's a difference between him taking care of Eliza because a government institution tells him to, and him taking care of Eliza because he feels responsible and he just wants Eliza to have a good life. One is he babysits and Eliza's different parents. The other one is he's more of a guardian ward. And I kind of like the side characters. A lot of things, like I said, I really like big, flashy, action, edgelord moments. One character is Mr. Bones and Caduceus. They're pretty set in stone, actually, Caduceus. Caduceus can heal you, but only if you're not dead yet. And Mr. Bones has the Covenant of Calcium, whatever the fuck that means. Again, Noomancers are weird. And I really like the idea of, like, Mr. Bones and everything. They've also renounced their ways. But Octave gets shot. Sacrificing his life for Trico, maybe using his powers in a way he doesn't want to. Like, he has some sort of mind control. Like, he can give you a command, you have to follow it. And he would use that against Trico despite never wanting to use it. And that might leave Trico with some trouble, like, why did I leave? I wanted to help him. And then he gets shot because his equipment can't keep him alive forever and everything. Maybe he dies, maybe he doesn't. And I like the idea of, like, Mr. Bones going in there and just tearing them to pieces. But that's gory. That changes a lot. And it's very different if Octave is part of a government organization, because then he would probably just call the emergency numbers and take care of things that way. Why is he even there? Why are those people even there? How are they related to the Cold War massacre? Why do they care? Are they related to Holly? Do they blame it personally? Because I kind of like the idea that Octave is more responsible than he lets in on. He's like, oh, I was there with the Cold War massacre, but then it later turns out, oh, I wasn't just at the Cold War massacre. I'm going to talk to Holly and try to train her as a villain because I thought it was cool at the time, and then she took my words the improper way and kind of started some shit. Also, I wanted to see if you could train someone to be a sea hat. Turns out you can. Whoops, I caused a massacre, a school shooting. Oh boy, that's not good. Which makes more sense than just a school shooting happening and affecting him. It's like, oh, I caused something to happen. I caused a teenage girl to become a mass murderer. And everyone I know and loved took a huge hit from it. Very different kind of thing. A lot of things to think about. Ugh. Let's just get through the scene and finish this freaking stream up. Ugh. I like how it's now described as well-aged. Like a fine wine. He's so grumpy. Damien, of course, shrugs it off instantaneously. Pictures take it instantaneously. I'm a photographic genius if I do so myself. Say fuzzy pickles. Thanks for bringing it up. I mean, obviously it would be the one human. Identifying Mark as all hell. Yep and no. How are you going to deny this? You are the only human, my man. I love just how sassy Inko can look sometimes. So sassy. Huh. I want to eat a hot dog, and it's this big. Because you're the one human. Oh my god, Damien. How? I don't know, I just like writing about lore, I guess. I like writing about character pieces like that, and that's why I might do a stream that's just that. That's just that. Get out of my goddamn system, and we can move on with our fucking lives. So, quick question. Important. Very important. Dinosaurs probably have, like, stronger jaw strengths. I know humans have pretty strong jaws, and they can bite very hard. Do dinosaurs need stronger chips? Or do they have softer chips? Just a question. Like, I'm just saying, when you got teeth that strong, is there a pursuit of crunchiness? Or do you like something that's a bit softer to take your mind off of the bones you bite? I love that his frills can do that. Like, he has that kind of control. That's pretty cute. So, Fang never uses their wings in Goodbye Volcano High, and this feels like a perfect thing to do with them, actually. Create a privacy corner. Like, in Snoot Game, they do the full body hug. Huh. 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 Okay, so a thing I did in D&D today is I brought up people who breed storms like people breed horses, and someone in that group, Como, posted a anthropomorphized storm with a big old penis. And one person in the group has not recovered from it since. Thanks, Como. Thanks. You've caused mental injury. It's fine. I love it. I didn't expect it. You know, we're going on a little late, and I thought the scene would end, but I don't think it will anytime soon. So how about we just call it here? I might do a stream in the week, like I said, for my writing stuff. Because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I just want to talk about it. I just want to talk. Alright. But I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. That's important. It's very important. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully next time we can get through the rest of the game. I might do it in the middle of the week because this is not that important. But we'll want to get through this. And then we can get to the actual game and we can start experiencing new content. What happens after the barbecue? I'm curious. What will happen after the barbecue? What happens after the BBQ? I'm just gonna look at the titles, and apparently it's called Mamma Mia Mean Girls, which implies to me that I might just get that goddamn drama I'm looking for. I like how many people are apparently into the wings, specifically. They're like, let me those wings. It's like chicken wings? Or am I missing something? Sorry for the rants and stuff that had nothing to do with anything. Expect some YouTube posts about all of this. You can ignore those. Well, thanks for coming. Sorry for the lack of energy and stuff, but like I said, we're just getting through stuff. We're just seeing if anything's different and reminding ourselves of everything that happens so that we go into it fresh and fruity. I got spoiled. I hate it. But hey, life sometimes is just like that. I hope no one's saying that I need to be quiet. Yes, no one's saying that I should be quiet. What do you mean the day is almost over? Wait, is that the 16th? Why is that message still there? Because I'm pretty sure I did my streak today. Yeah, I don't get people who are into the wings. Like, what am I missing? Am I missing something? Is my brain incapable of processing of a wing passion? So yeah, next time we're gonna finish this up. Be there or be square. We are all your anons listening to rants if needed. What does that mean? You mean you're just sitting there quietly, hoping to get your good ending points? Because if you're just farming me for good end points, I'm very disappointed in you. I don't want to be farmed for good bullet points. I want people to care for who I am. I just want to matter. Wah, wah. This song is so suave, though. Bah, bah, bah. I want to get out of this song too, though. I want a different song. This song will start to grade me over time. I still have no idea what the fuck Angel of Broken Wings is even about at this point. Probably would help if I read it from the beginning. Are they even doing it financially? God, it's so weird that one of their characters is like half out of frame. Do they even show you, like... Oh, that's all the way at the bottom. 1,000 a month. It's not bad, all things considered. Can't wait for the full game, though. Screw points. Screw points. Okay, you know what? Since you're all being so goddamn nice. Okay, I'm gonna ask it to you. I'm gonna ask it to you straightforward and bluntly. Can anyone show up for like a midweek stream for this, or shall I keep it on the Friday as usual? Because if you can't show up, we'll just stick it to the Friday, and I'll do my writing thing in the middle of the week. No worries. Because I got nothing else to do. If we can fit it in then, we can get to the new content Friday. That's just what I'm aiming for. But otherwise, it's fine. We'll live. I'll live. We all live. We all spread our arms wide and pretend float on the sea of comfort. I'm gonna bum rush it. Maybe I won't rant as much. We can actually get to the fucking point already. God damn it. Friday faux show. I could just put up a poll, but I'm lazy. But if Scary Dave says Friday, Scary Dave has big points. Big important man. one of the regulars, so he gets the power, the influence, the bonus points. So yes, we'll stick it to Friday then. If you can attend the Make Me thing, good. If not, well, cool. Then I get to talk to myself and pretend that no one is listening. Otherwise, let's see where we can get. Thank you all for coming. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend, whatever remains of your Sundays, and sleep well. Remember to sleep on time. Monday is a big day. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Wait, no. Oh, I gotta do this properly. How do I... Ooh, gotta end my